Hello and welcome back. This Arvo, we're going to have a look at the spring and we're going to put the sidecar where it's actually going to go. It occurred to me while looking at the last video and editing it that although I told you there were going to be dimensions of this axle, I didn't give you the length. There's a reason for that, and it's not that I forgot. It's because this axle is however long you want it to be, and I'll show you. Because I haven't told you how long to make your, how wide to make your sidecar. It can be whatever you want it to be. I've made it to fit this box, but it doesn't have to be. That just suits me. And I'm going to take that out there, and I'm going to turn this over. So this is my cradle, my crib, and this is my wheel. I hadn't forgotten the word for wheel then, just so as you know, I have seen one before. I took some outside footage today of me hooning around on my MEC. So just in case you're wondering how these might handle, you can see. Okay, let me turn it on sideways so that you can see. Okay, so that's the width of the sidecar. That's the axle. Now, it's actually, this is upside down. It's actually going to sit more like that. And when the suspension compresses, it goes in an arc because it's a Mitchell swing axle. Copyright. So you don't want the wheel right up close against your body or cage. You need some room for when it swings in. So as this is going to be, don't forget we're going to cut that off. As this is, I'm running out of hands. As this is going to be up there like that, don't forget it's upside down, that will give me enough room for it to swing and not catch on the body. So I hope that makes sense. The reason, the diameter of the holes and the thread sizes, they want to stay the same for yours, but in terms of the length, it wants to be that much. Oh, let's get your tape. But that's just not a critical size, and I don't want you to get bogged down with critical measurements like that, because that's just not one of them. There are some that are critical, that's not one of them. I've been on a lot of websites and advice pages, and I like to soak up advice, and it's one of the hardest things I find is to work out what's good advice and what's bad advice. And one of the things that I'd say regarding chassis design as opposed to engine design is that millimeters don't matter so much. With engine building, sub-millimeters matter, absolutely. Fractions of a millimeter matter hugely. But for our purposes, you won't find a straight road. You won't find two people the same, with the same driving style, the same wind direction, and any other two factors that will also affect your handling. You won't find them the same. All motorbikes, cars, and almost everything work within a range. So for instance, your carburettor will work within a certain range above sea level. That's not going to work so well in the mountains and might need rejetting. But it will work within a range. Here I'm at sea level, obviously, because I'm right by the coast, and I can expect that to work up to X above sea level, and then it will just be out of range. These tyres, again, pressures within a range. So don't get bogged down, and it's very easy to do because, and people do it a lot when they want to power move you by suggesting that there's some criticalness that you don't understand to make you feel somehow dumber. Don't accept that negativity into your life. It just isn't that critical. There's a lot of stuff that's already been worked out that you do well to listen to other people's experience, but work out yourself whether it's just a power move to make you feel stupid. And if they can't come up with evidence for what they're saying, I wouldn't say dismiss it, but take it with a pinch of salt. Okay. Oh, I've said it, that's the first time today. That is sticking out 4 centimetres or 40 millimetres beyond the edge of my cage. But as this is going to sit up on a tower just there, I can move that tower anywhere I want it anyway, so again isn't critical. I've got it sticking out a bit, but it's literally just a bit, because that's what makes me happy. I want this wheel as far forward as I can, and the reason for that is that I want the whole sidecar as far back as I can. And the reason for that is because I don't want to fasten it to the front of the bike. I want to fasten it far back here, just because it's fairly short. So let's put it up on some axle stands, and let's hope that these are close to the right size. I can't remember what axle stands I used for the last sidecar build, and it may well have not been axle stands at all. It could have been, knowing me, milk crates. Oh, they don't look so far off there. They don't look so far off. Oh, let me show you how to do the, let's do a critical measurement right now. Do a critical measurement. This is an important one. According to the person who told me, and the last sidecar worked, as I hope you'd agree. You saw it this morning. Me hooning around on that worked. So I'm looking for a pencil right now. Pen. This is why everything's a mess. Okay, I can almost see. These are the critical bits. We're going to measure down from the rear axle at a right angle. So I hope you'd agree. That mark on the floor there is directly below that axle. Let's draw that out. Might extend that a little bit. A bit long enough. I'm going to do the same with the front. Or close to the same anyway. So I hope you'd agree. Oh, I hate kneeling on concrete. Where's my kneeler? I hope you'd agree that from that mark there to that mark there is the wheelbase of this motorcycle. I'll tell you what it is. and 23 centimetres. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 centimetres. Or 1230 millimetres if that's what you want to work with. So that's the wheelbase. Get your calculator out. 1, 2, 3 divided by 100 is obviously 1.23. Times it by 17. We divided it by 100 to find 1%. So 1% of the wheelbase is 1.23 centimetres, or 123 millimetres. And then we're timesing it by 17 because we want to find out 17% forward of that mark. I'm going to times that by 17 and I'm going to get 2091. I think we're going to roll that forward for accuracy and simplicity because we're talking about a very small figure. I'm going to move that forward to 21 centimetres. That, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? I shall move that. That is where your back axle wants to be. I was told that by someone on a different website, different page. It was confirmed by other people. I did my research and despite some people would say not listening to criticism very well, I do take advice, not just a knock. I'm not interested in people just knocking me for the sake of it because they've got issues. But I'll listen to good advice. And that appears to be good advice. Oh, where's it gone? Oh, there it is, 21 centimetres. I'm going to make that mark a bit more visible. Do a 21 next to it. There we go. Now we can put, within reason, or close to, the chair wherever we want it. Oh, and I'll see. We can't put it there because we need, we're only going to use half this spring, but we can't have this spring sticking out further than the cradle. So what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to lock that off, and then that will tell us how far forward we can have our cradle. There's the mark. So that's where the wheel wants to be. That's a pretty much guess of where the sidecar wants to be. And then the check is, can we have it there? Is there enough room to fit the axle in? And that looks like there is. So we look like not too far off where it's going to end up. I'm going to go and get some bungee hockey straps. And again, I'm mixing my descriptive words between countries. We would call them bungee hooks in the UK and we call them hockey straps in Australia. And I don't know why, I've got no idea. I don't know what a hockey strap is. But I do know that was too long then. You didn't want this to be too slick, though, did you? You wanted it to be authentic. Oh, this is authentic. It's quite a warm day today, and you might see some authentic sweat if you're lucky. Or the odd dog, or the dogs authentically bark. Oh, there we go. That's okay. I'm happy with that. I'm going to make some observations in a minute, and I think I might even get the camera down and show you. I think I will. What do you think of the angle up there? I'm just trying stuff out. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know I'm making it up as I go along, and I've got a lot to learn, and I want it to get better so that I can share my ideas with more people. Not like I'm a legend, I won't go that far, but I do want to share my ideas, because otherwise there's no point in going to all this trouble to share it. Well, not no point, I'm sure it makes a point to somebody, but I'd rather it was more than 10 people, because it does take me a fair bit of work in the evening to edit everything together. Plus, this is probably a good point, I'm going to move the camera. Now I'm going to get my phone, because my phone shows me what it looks like, which is pretty good. I'm going to press stop. I'm going to reposition the camera so that I'm going to go hand over. Yeah, let's go hand over. I'm good. And let's move that out of the way, because it might just distract your eyes. Move that as well so that you can see. So, there's the wheel, there's the mark. So that mark there is back axle. And that mark there is 17%, or near enough, 21 centimetres forward of that. I'm told that that is the golden number. And whilst I previously said, let's not get hung up on stuff that doesn't matter, I've heard from enough people that that does. So that is going to work, and that's what I've got on my other one. There's the back wheel. Sorry, there's a sidecar wheel. There's the back wheel. And you can see that is also 17% forward. That's what I was filming on this morning, by the way. I put a big rod on, clamped it on the back of that. Let's get a tape again. Oh, get tidier, Loz. Or younger, so I don't forget stuff. There it is. There it is. Now, this suspension works great. I love it. I do. I just think it's ace. It's great. I'm sorry to sound so pleased with myself. I know it's not modest, but it works. It works. It works really well. Ooh. And from the end to the end, I can't do this with one hand, is 50 or 500. Anyway, that spring there is 50 centimeters or 500 millimeters long. Let's see if I can put this camera down. This is good, you're not getting too blinded, are you? So, I'm going to use a white pen for this. I can recommend these, by the way. This is great paint marker. I know it sounds obvious because, yeah, black won't show up. So 50. So that's to there. So the other spring was cut off, just there. Okay, so we're going to cut that off, toss it away. Remind me of put that up there. And let me bring you over and show you what that looks like. See there? Oh, falling away. So there's the mark. That's where we're going to cut it. So that's there. Aha. Now you can see that that sits forward of the cradle, which we can't have. And I can move it back a little bit, but we can't have it sitting that far back. And I can't move the wheel further back. Well, that was funny. Because of that mark. Oh, I see. The camera's sort of correcting itself as I flip it. Oh, I'm ever so sorry about that. I don't know what that must look like. I'll find out in a bit, I guess. Yeah, I can't move the wheel back. I also can't have the spring sticking out forward of the cradle. Answer is, we move the cradle forward. So, let's do that. And offer it up again. Put you a bit further back. Okay, that is level with there. Bike hasn't moved. Now let's see. Oh, my screen's gone off. I'll look on the. I don't know how to get that to come back on. Touch it. Hey, that worked. Of course, it's a touch screen. I couldn't see then, which made it pretty difficult for me to see what you're seeing. Now, if we offer up the axe, there's the spring to just there. You can see we can fit the spring all the length that we need in within the length of the cradle. I can still adjust it a little bit more, and I am going to take it back. I won't muck about that too much while you're on your time. Tell you what I will do before turning you off and just getting on with it, because Debbie's paid for this. And I'd love to say, oh, there's no sponsored content. There is. Lovely Debbie has already paid for this before it's even been made, because for no real reason other than she believes in me, which I'm very grateful for, she has paid me up front for this. Based on that one over there, not only has she paid me up front for this, but she's happy for it to take twice as long as it should do while I show you guys how to do it for nothing. So I think that would pretty much come within the realms of sponsored content. Thank you for your patience, Debbie. This is why your sidecar is taking a bit longer than it should do normally. Now, put the camera down because we don't have enough. The wheel can't get any lower. It's touching the floor, okay? And you may have noticed when I offered that spring up that it wasn't really sitting right. We need movement, we need travel in the suspension, and we haven't currently got enough to fit that axle in. So That's where I'm going to pop these up a little bit. Well, when I get technical, 2 clicks. 2 and oh, that's gone 3. Oh, how's it? What I'm looking for is for this axle to be parallel with the ground. The Postie's not quite on the ground, so we've got to bear that in mind. So there's no point making this so it sits perfectly and the suspensions and the compression and everything, only to find out that, oh, as soon as we take it off the stand, oh, Postie bike drops and this is all of a sudden in the air. So we'll have to bear that. Well, getting this in the right place is something that takes a bit of time. And it needs doing. And he's doing fairly cleverly. You might have noticed from the footage on the road today, if you've seen it, if not, I've always wanted to do this. If not, have a look on my other videos down below. I presume that's where they are. You may have thought to yourself, quite rightly, that wheel wants to lift up. It does. It does want to lift up. You're quite right. One of the reasons for that this morning is there's no weight in it. I've got some camera gear, and that's it. The other reason is it's very narrow. Unnecessarily narrow. One of the things that I did when I was designing it is one of the pitfalls that I often fall into, taking things for granted. It doesn't need to be narrow. I'd assumed it needed to be very, very light. It doesn't. I'm glad this has been made to be deliberately a bit heavier so it doesn't fly up so easily. So this is deliberately, not excessively heavy, but a bit heavier. I have mentioned cast iron planes don't take off, so we're not going to over-engineer it, but I don't mind that it weighs more than the other one. Hopefully it will stay in contact with the ground more than the other one. And the other thing is, I also don't mind that this is going to be a little bit further away from the bike than the other one. The same reason. I want this to be a bit more planted. It's never going to be very planted, it's quite high up. The whole thing's, in the scheme of things, the whole sidecar is very high, very narrow, very light, which is, oh, look at that, which is great for making it want to tip over. It's a lovely warm day, but you've seen that from the other videos. You've seen it's a gorgeous day here in Albany. When I offer that up, that's looking very good to me. I'm happy with that. Yep, I'm happy with the positioning of that. I might adjust some of this, but the rest of it is pretty close. I think I might go up. Will I go up a little bit higher or not? I'm fairly pleased with that. Yep, I'm fairly pleased with that. And we've got to get an old dog into it as well. We have got to get an old dog into it. So there's going to be some sort of a ramp or a folding ramp or something like that to help the old boy get in. Is that someone commenting on my Facebook? Thank you for all the action I'm getting on there. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I do. Certainly the positive stuff anyway, which it is almost overwhelmingly positive. We want to go a bit higher, I reckon. I wasn't happy with how that spring is sitting. While I was talking, I was mucking about with that spring. It wasn't all nerves, it was also me eyeing it in. That looks a bit better. I'm going to grab the camera in a second and show you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do something different with this sidecar. I'll come and get it now and show you what I'm going to do differently. On the other sidecar, the spring plate is mounted. Oh, let's see. I'll tell you what, let's get rid of this. A lot of people comment on this little fuel can. I love it. It's great. About $50 from China. But I'm surprised at how many people comment on it, considering how cheap and readily available it is in comparison with how rare the sidecar is. So there's the spring on the other sidecar, and we've got a fair old gap just here. We're getting rid of that on the new one, on the next one, and we're doing that by getting rid of this spring mount at the side. I'm going to mount the spring underneath the cradle on this one. So it will go like that. There's a bolt stopping that from going down. I'll just put it like that. That's what this one's going to look like. I don't think this wants to go up anymore. Oh, it is high, isn't it? Isn't it high? It's probably why I did it like that the last time as well, to get a bit more movement in the spring. I'll work something out, but that is... So that's the amount of travel. If I put the... I'll show you underneath. You can see the gap between the chassis and the axle. Where that bungee hook is there, that bungee cord there, that will be a pillar, just a tube coming down and catching that rod end to keep that parallel with the ground. So I hope that all makes some sense to you. Now, critical dimensions: 123 centimeters wheelbase for the CT110, 17% forward for the rear axle, which is 20.91, I think, which I've rounded up to 21 centimeters forward. Look, that's gone a little bit out, isn't it? So I want that. There we go. And hopefully, I was going to sing a Christmas song then about something that's it's beginning to look a bit like Christmas. It's beginning to look a bit like Sidecar. I've got a wheel arch for it somewhere that I've bought that's going to be the same as that wheel arch over there, but I've mounted a little bit closer to the body. It'll probably be mounted directly to the body. Okay. Oh, I'll tell you what, while we're here, let's put the box in. Debbie, I don't know the name of your dog. Okay. Oh, I said it again. But there it is. Oh, it's not sitting down properly. Oh, it's because of that hockey strap. That should give you an idea of how it's going to look. And obviously at some point or other we will connect a chassis there across to that top shock mount. We will connect the bottom one over to probably pick up the footrest mount underneath. We'll probably go along and then up. And then I will also probably do something. Oh, see my hand, if I'm gesturing, would help. And we're going to do something from here, because it's a lovely strong part of the bike, over to there. And in this way, we will not really have fastened the front of the sidecar to the front of the CT in the way that we did on the NBC. That's because this one was longer, much longer than this one, and much further forward than it needed to be. So that said, I think we're done for the day. I don't think you want to watch me cut any metal or material. I think probably told you. By the time I've got these bits and bobs cut and bolted in, and I'll go over, you'll see what I mean once I've done them, probably easier than me actually watching me actually do them. Okay, I hope that's been informative, if not entertaining. All right, tell me if you think I'm just talking too much. I'm okay with that. If you just want less talking, more show-in-laws, tell me that. I'm very happy with that. Oh, I will turn the camera. Big thumbs up. It's the front screen. Oh, there we go. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.